Hello everybody, today we will be taking a look on the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck. Now I know looking at this shot you're probably thinking it's a comparison video, but not really. In my opinion, I think that these two devices really complement each other, and that is where the focus of the video is going to be about. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, before we go on, I wanted to also thank everybody for helping me reach 500 subscribers and more. And I'm really happy that we were able to achieve this goal. I wanted to do this for a while. The channel keeps growing. I will keep making videos as long as you guys enjoy them. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, let's get right into this immediately. Now, I know a lot of people want to see comparisons and stuff like this, but when I started using these two devices interconnected, like once this device and then this device, I cannot stop having this feeling that these devices obviously are not really meant to do the same thing. Because, as I said before in a previous video, this is one in all device that it can do anything, and this device right here is focused specifically on gaming. Based on that prospect at all, like I would think that they are not really directly comparing it, like comparable between each other. Even though the Steam Deck is being sold as a gaming device, it can do so much more. And the Switch 2 is being advertised as a gaming device, and that's all it can do because you can't even watch YouTube at the moment. So, yeah, those two things. And now I wanted to be able to show you a little bit of why do I think that these devices complement each other. Let's start with the easy parts first. So first, it's already here on the screen. It's games that are more indie-like, right? Now with the Switch 2, if you have followed at all like what is happening with development and games, the indie devs don't really have development kits to even update their previous installments of their games. So right now, even if they wanted to make an update on the Switch 2 for their game, they really cannot because they don't have the development kit. So it may take a while before you see, outside of very big indie games like Hades and stuff like that, and Silk Song, you probably won't really see them on the Switch 2 immediately until they get a development kit. So that is really something that you have to keep in mind. Switch 2, while the original Switch was really close with indie games and it was an indie game machine, that is not going to be the case for a while, I believe, for the Switch 2. So if you love indie games and you love supporting and you're playing those games handheld, I can't help that the only place to do this, even if the Switch 2 had amazing support, I still think obviously Steam is the best because all the developers that can make an indie game immediately they can publish it on Steam, and they don't have to rely on connections with Nintendo to make it work specifically for the Nintendo Switch. So for games like these indie games, I do think that it's best to keep going on a Steam Deck until we get support for more on the Switch 2. Now, when we get the support on the Switch 2, hopefully, I would hope that this is going to be about having not digital editions of the games, but having the physical cartridge with and not a game keycard. So if that happens for me, I will be just really happy because I would buy games, indie games, for the Switch 2 or the Switch 1 still, if they can put them in a cartridge. So for that regard, yeah, like I think that the Switch 2 right now, at least for the foreseeable future, it is not a really good machine for indies because they don't really have the developer support. And that may change in the future, but right now, yeah, that is how it is. And the Steam Deck obviously complements it when you want to play a specific indie game that you cannot really play it on the Switch 2 yet. You can play it on the Steam Deck. So that is how I mean that they complement each other, because they kind of complete each other. Now, on a point, for example, for the Switch 2, games like more prolific games that are from big companies, they are more likely to be configured better for the Switch 2, because they want to sell, first of all. When you're selling something on Steam, you're not selling it for the Steam Deck. You may kind of try to do the verification thing to show off that your game is capable to run on the Steam Deck, but it's not directly made for Steam Deck. But when it's happening for the Switch 2, you know that those ports are going to try to take advantage as best as they can of the hardware. So for something like Street Fighter 6, in my opinion, this is the savior for me, right? Because I was playing Street Fighter 6 before here and it had problems. It was working, but a lot of times it had problems. And on this device, it is perfect. I can put it on a dock. It has low enough latency with no variations, crazy variations. It can be docked and undocked on a moment without really changing anything immediately. It's seamless, so you're not really losing anything. And the online is pretty stable with the current solutions that they have for the game and for this console. So yeah, like in my opinion, this is a really, really good way to enjoy better games, like higher level games like Street Fighter 6 and like Fortnite as well. You also have the option to play Fortnite. You soon gonna have the option to play Call of Duty as well. And games like this that have anti-cheat, you will not have a problem running them on the Switch 2, but on the Steam Deck it is not really an option at all. So that again is how I mean that they complement each other, because one is doing a really good job on some specific things and the other one is doing very good job on other specific things. What else would I say? The Steam Deck, obviously the screen is like unmatched. There is no way that you can compare the color accuracy, the HDR and all of those stuff. They are not really comparable. This has everything true HDR inside, and it sometimes is also pre-configured by Steam, so you don't have to try to do any adjustments. That is something that I was expecting to happen on the Switch 2. So if you're someone that really love HDR games, obviously there's no like other suggestion. You should go with like to be able to play them on the Steam Deck. So if I want to play in a game like with really good HDR, let's think what game that could be. Yeah, I would think if you wanted to play Elden Ring with HDR, this is obviously the device to do it on, which is probably gonna look better graphically on the Switch 2. Most likely because it's gonna be better configured, right? And probably depends on what kind of power they want to draw from this thing, specific frame rate. Now, for example, something like this, you can see like almost all my time I have played it on the Steam Deck, except the expansion, because the expansion was not really playable on the Steam Deck. So 155 hours on this game, I will buy it here as well. And I know what to expect up and down. It's gonna be a little bit better looking graphically. DLSS is going to support it better for a little bit, but probably the frame rate is going to be 30 FPS on this one. And or it's gonna be unlocked. One or the other. I'm not sure if the unlocked frame rate gonna be a good option, but if they do 30 is still fine for a game like that. I know a lot of the times the Steam Deck can easily do 60, but it's not stable. So the stability is really important in an experience, and a lot of people love running their games uncapped. That is why the Steam Deck is a very nice option. If you're someone that has specific tastes, that, oh, I want to be able to run this game if possible on 40 or 45 FPS. I want to be able to run it at 30 because I want to conserve energy. I want to make specific settings, so I will have specific amount of battery. So I'm going to put a TDP limit on how much I want, so I will be able to achieve that goal. That is not something you can do with the Switch 2, but the Switch 2 is running way better efficiently than the Steam Deck OLED, even with this LCD screen. Now, as I said with the screen, I praised the OLED on this one, which is amazing. But now we have to also talk about this one, even with the fault that it has right now with the motion clarity, that is just really not the best. When you're moving the camera, unless you're really not private to be able to see these things, some people just don't see them. But for me, high motion movement, I play for a very long time in high frame rates. So this is very easy for me to see the blurriness. And it's not nice. It may be changed in the future because of a software update. I'm not sure yet. I wouldn't count on it anytime soon. But it's not something that takes completely this screen behind. This screen is very good because it also has 120 Hz support. Even on games like Street Fighter 6, it can support it for having lower latency and having the boost mode enabled, so you're going to have lower latency when playing portable. So that is pretty good, and it also has VRR, which not the normal VRR. It's the VRR that we have been begging PlayStation to do, to have the low frame rate compensation and all of that stuff. Now, not everything is working right now. I watched the Digital Foundry video. Not everything is working right now, but it may be changed in the future. Sometimes it can be with software, sometimes it can be something else. But in my experience, all the games that I have played have been appearing to be very smooth, be it Switch 1 or Switch 2 games. But it's these features here, like the DLSS. I said it in a previous video and people didn't like to hear it, but I still believe that DLSS and VRR are the true carries for the future for this device, because you can have games having unlocked frame rate and not having a problem as long as the VRR is working correctly. And you can have other games that are specifically trying to target like 40 FPS to conserve energy. They're gonna be running way better here. So that is why I'm saying all this stuff. And I truly believe it because I have seen it for myself when I'm using it on PC. This is not a new groundbreaking technology. It have been tested for years, both of those things. DLSS and VRR. They are not new. So because they're tried and tested, it would be nice to have them on the Steam Deck as well, but I don't think they have made a portable screen that has VRR and is OLED. Maybe in the future on the Steam Deck 2, which to be honest on the Steam Deck 2, I don't expect them to run immediately with OLED anyway. And the same here, eventually it will have a hardware upgrade or something, probably better, more efficient stuff to run on this, and then it will have the definitive version with the OLED screen, which I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, a lot of people may think it's a scam or something, but for me, I think that it's one of the best things, because you don't want the device that is going to be out for 8 years to be having an OLED screen from the start, because that way you may be having issues with burning at around the end of the lifespan of this, maybe even earlier, maybe 5 to 6 years, you may have burning issues. So it's better to avoid it and put it as a definitive version 2, 3 years, or even 4 years before the device is up to upgrade completely to a different generation. So that is my opinion on that matter. But that is pretty much it. I don't really have too much to say, but these were like really big reasons that you will want to be able to work with both devices. One has a weakness, one has a weakness, and they complement each other because it fixes each other's weaknesses. So for example, this is not only that, just because I also said like that they complement each other, you also have to look at the power of the Steam Deck here. We have amazing parts of emulation. You can emulate everything. And contrary to seeing the back of my background on other videos, you may think that I'm a purist with physical and stuff. I'm not. I love emulation. I have played a lot of these games on here because I love them to have them on handheld form as well if they were not available, or to be able to play them in one device. I really hope in the future we get DS emulators and stuff like this also on the Switch too. But I don't think it's even a competition, because on the Steam Deck you can have every game up to, I think, PlayStation 3, maybe some PlayStation 3 games. I will say till PlayStation 2, let's be fair. So till PlayStation 2, you will be able to play an amazing cast of games on emulation here and just everything. It has a touchscreen, so even touchscreen games kind of work. There are so many things that you can do, and especially like playing older games that are not available anymore. I would love to have these original games on the Switch too, but they're not putting them in. What I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna play the games. I'm gonna play the games where I can. And it's the same with other Zelda games. You can see before Raidu, the remaster, I was playing here on the emulator. And if something doesn't exist, you make it exist on your own on the Steam Deck. So it's a really nice solution. And the aspect ratio of 16 with 10 is really good for emulation, because 4:3 looks really, really good on this. And I would really suggest it if you want like an emulator device. Even if you get the LCD model for cheap, it is a really good option to have. So that is really the things that I meant. That is really the things that I mean about complementing each other. And the end is going to be about this device having the game chat. Now, game chat is something that I wanted to have on the Steam Deck. Now, you may say in the comments, but you, Michael, you can do on the Steam Deck, you can have Discord. But if you actually tried it, Discord is so hard to configure because it's not a native application. It doesn't really work the way that you want it to. It runs a lot of resources on the background. It affects the game. If you have screen recording on, it messes up with that. There is so many things that are happening that are very annoying when you're trying to run two things at the same time on the Steam Deck. Okay? Just keep that in mind. If it's not an official app or something like this, there are plugins for music. Like you can have like a lot of plugins here that is pretty cool, that you can have music, tab master, volume mixer, all of that stuff. It's really cool. Like what is amazing I can do on the Steam Deck is I can use my phone, emulate a connection with Bluetooth from my phone to this device, and this device is acting like headphones. So I can hear the music or the YouTube videos from my phone on the Steam Deck while I'm playing a game. And I can, with this volume mixer thing, I can make it sound however I want. So it is pretty impressive, the stuff that you can do on this device, like don't get me wrong. So that is why I think that while this has like this cool thing, it doesn't have the cool thing that this device has, which is game chat. Now game chat is something that it will appear stupid immediately. The moment you have seen those clips with 10 FPS on the other people's screens, unless you use it, I think it's a feature that is hugely underestimated. I was able to do tests with my wife. I was sitting on the TV with loud music playing from the TV from the game. We were playing different games. And I think I was playing Street Fighter and she was playing Animal Crossing or Ni no Kuni. And while that was happening, and we were using the game chat, I could see her just glimpses, because that's why it's also low frame rate. You don't want to keep seeing the other person's like drawing too many resources, trying to have like connection and stuff like this, affecting your Switch when you're playing an online game. But it's cool that you can see them when you glance your eye on the corner of the screen. Ah, she's playing this. Ah, I know this point. Or like you can help someone and stuff like that. And that is not the most impressive thing. Like for me, yes, sure, it's Discord implemented into this. It's a Nintendo Discord, whatever. It's a ripoff. You can say whatever you want, and you will be right. But it also has the technology for this crazy microphone up here. This microphone was able to catch my voice, and using the AI inside here, the AI cores, it was able to filter out the noise, like the RTX voice, if you have used before, that completely removes noises and background noises and stuff. So this helps a lot. And it was able to filter out the game music and all of that, and it was focusing only on my voice from, guys, 3 meters away. I don't know how is that possible. And I was not screaming. I was talking normally like how I'm talking on this video, and it was able to pick me up, and my wife can hear me completely fine. So definitely not gonna be a problem if you're playing tabletop, if you're playing handheld, but I would never imagine that this would work when they showed it off on that demo, to be able to work that well when it was on the couch. So yeah, like I still remember I was making fun of it, like there is no way this is gonna work, but it did. And I'm thankful. So that is the reasons that I believe that these devices complement each other. This one has a lot of community support, and it can do stuff that normally it wouldn't, like years ago. And this device is getting more support from third-party developers, like AAA game developers. So most likely the experience for bigger games is going to be better here, and you will also be having a better experience docked. While on this device, you should be focused to use this as an accessory. I don't think it was ever advertised to be one and all solution, but I was using it as such. For programming, for projects, for a lot of other stuff that normally are not even used like this. Like I was using it as a Plex server to upload stuff. I was using it as a server because I have like a 3 terabytes in this. Hopefully we will be able to get better SD cards and larger SD cards on this. I will wait till we get big updates. Till then, I will try to hold off of buying a big SD card on this one. So that was the video. I hope it was helpful. I hope that you got the intention of this video, because okay, like if you watched till the end, there is no way you didn't get the intention of this video. But if you started and were expecting that I'm gonna compare them and all of that, that is not how I feel when I'm using these devices, and that is why I made the video like this. I hope you liked it. If you want to specifically watch a comparison, this is not really that much different from a comparison, but it focuses on what the devices are doing well. And yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. See you next time. And again, thank you for 500 subs. If you like this video, consider subscribing, and let's reach the 1000. Now that the serious video finished, I wanted to make an announcement that I will try to make starting the next month, kind of more gameplay focused stuff. I don't know how many people are interested, because usually I just compare stuff or like review stuff. So I don't really usually just play games, but I was thinking about playing, with Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out. I was thinking of maybe making a small celebration, playing the Super Nintendo games, and maybe even the Nintendo 64 game if they put it on the NSO. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Goodbye.